Hello and welcome to pdfsupply.com. Today we're going to be testing a 9030 processor. I have here an IC693CPU372, and I'm going to be attaching it to our IC693CHS397 5-slot rack. Slots 2 through 5 are going to be empty for this test, and it's going to be powered by our high capacity power supply. This is an IC693 PWR330. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and power this up. And the first thing I'm going to look for is the OK light to be solid. This OK LED must be solid, and it tells you that it's a good working processor, or it so far is a good working processor. If that light is not on or it's blinking, it's likely you have a problem with the processor. And this is something that we typically look at here. We repair. We offer an exchange program, new and remanufactured products. So if that's something that interests you, please see us at pdfsupply.com. Okay. Now that it is up and running, I'm going to go ahead and get connected to it through Prophecy Machine Edition. Okay, now that we're connected, I'm going to hit the program mode and go into Target. And in the subcategory Online Commands, and then I'm going to go down to Clear. And a window will pop up which will allow you to clear memory faults. So in this particular case, we want to hit Controller Fault Table and I/O Fault Table. We don't want to clear any of the actual memory because there may be information on there that you want to keep and protect. So just Controller Fault Table, I/O Fault Table, OK. And then we're going to download and run this basically blank configuration that just has to do with the CPU 372. So download and run, the goal is to get the processor into run mode, and it's going to ask you download, what do you want to download to the controller? Hardware configuration and logic only. We're not going to write anything to the permanent flash memory. Okay. So again, the processor, the second part of the test is making sure that it is actually able to go into run mode. And then getting back to this key switch, it's going to ask me if I want to enable the output, so I want to say yes. And typically it would go into run mode, but in this case it's not going to because we have this off. So you're going to get a fault that says the controller is not in run mode after you attempted to start it. This may be due to a run stop switch position application, so that's right. I want to make sure that this is functioning properly. It does two things for us. One, it protects the memory when it's in the on position, and two, it enables the outputs when it's in the on position, or disables them when it's in the off position. So we go ahead and turn this on, and it goes into run mode so that we know that this key barrel and this function is working properly. All right? Okay. So another thing to keep in mind is that on this particular processor we have two Ethernet ports that we want to test. And in this test configuration I have set up, if you right-click on CPU 372 in your slot rack, slot 1, and click on Configuration, and then drag over to the tab that says Ethernet, I've already put in an IP address, and I've put in an IP address that doesn't conflict with anything that I have working here in any of the networks on our system, so that I know when I do actually ping the processor, I'm not pinging something else in the building. So using this Ethernet cable that I have plugged in locally, I'm going to put it into port number 1. And I'm looking for the LAN LED to start blinking. That tells me that it's ready to ping. So I'm going to go to my command prompt feature in the computer. And what I'm going to ask the command prompt to do is ping and then the Ethernet address. And then once I've got the Ethernet address in there, I'm going to hit enter. And immediately I should have a reply. I should have 4 replies, 4 out of 4. And I do. So I'm going to go to port number 2. Again, wait for the LAN LED to start blinking. If you hit enter before it starts blinking, you're not going to get a response, and you're going to have to wait a while before it'll reset itself. So now that I'm testing the same exact address, I'm just going to hit the up arrow, and it's going to give me the same function, the ping and then the address. I hit enter. And again, I have an immediate response. So here's where we could have a problem. If for some reason you don't get any responses from these two or one of these two, then again, there's a problem with your processor, and it's something that we will look at. But in this case, it tested fine. So what I want to do is I'm going to leave the processor in run mode if I feel that it's a problem processor overnight or over a couple days. And I want to make sure that it stays in run mode. That's the goal, is that it stays in run mode. It doesn't fall out of run mode or get kicked out of run mode because of a fault. So if it does get kicked out of run mode for some reason, I would go back to Prophecy Machine Edition, go to Target, subcategory Diagnostics, and in my Info Viewer tab, a fault table will open up, and the fault table will tell me why it got kicked out of run mode. Now, a lot of times the explanations aren't very understandable. Sometimes they are. So if it does get kicked out of run mode, there's a problem with the processor, and it's something that we do repair frequently here. Again, we offer exchange programs, new and surplus new products, remanufactured products. So if that's something that you need or interests you, please see us at pdfsupply.com. Thank you.